Hello. It's been 4 years since my last video. I got an email yesterday from a viewer, and I'd seen a few comments here and there, one or two emails I think. And 4 years, I figure people are still seeing this video after all this time, then might be worth an update. So I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder in 2018, which is just far too long ago for it to be real. And I think I made the video in 2019, something, 2020, I don't know, and I don't care. Tonight you are seeing me in a bad mood, bad mood that's lasted all day, all week, all month, perhaps the last century. We don't quite know. Let me just go through the symptoms with you one by one, and then maybe we can learn about the past 4 years together, because I'm probably not going to remember it until I start talking about it. Just to clarify, when I was diagnosed with BPD, the psychiatrist also said that I had avoidant personality disorder traits, and I also have anxiety. I think possibly the OCD has calmed down since I left university, which was ages ago. But yeah, in this context, you're not going to be seeing, I don't know what, you're not going to see Rebecca Brunch from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Yeah, so I have all those fun stuff, and it's already been too long, so let's just get into it. So number one, fear of abandonment. It took me so long, but I eventually managed to make some friends. Yay! Little party cheer there. I met them when I was at a walking group last year. I'm not really sure why I decided to go. I guess I was really feeling the need to go out into nature. And I mean, I totally regretted it the minute that I got there, because a fat guy, and I was walking up hills, and it's not a great feeling for your calves. So I met them when I was there. Uh, we all had something in common, and I'm not really sure. I guess the the transport trips to the hill walks themselves, to the countryside, they were most conducive to social interaction, because when you're up a hill, you can barely breathe, let alone talk and think. Um, so yeah, we were chatting sometimes when we were on the bus or the train together. I think it's because we were all the same age, we're all guys. We just naturally clicked. Um, Clicked in that one of the guys asked for my social media on Facebook, and we started meeting up after that. There was one more hill walk. There was, I guess a bunch of stuff we've done. We went to a festival. We we went to the cinema a couple times, dinner, lunch, and 4 years ago, this would have been everything that I wanted. It would have been, except So we all met on the same day in the same place, right? And somehow those two guys are closer to each other than they are to me. And, fear of abandonment is ringing, high school is knocking, and it's reminding you that you had two friends who were as thick as thieves, and you always felt a little bit left out with them, despite feeling that they were the closest friends you'd ever had. But obviously, they had to be closer, didn't they? They had to know each other from primary school or nursery or whatever. And yet, these guys that I'd met recently, they'd only just met on the same day. So it feels like I'm lacking something, that I've done something wrong, that I haven't managed to keep up with this bonding experience, something. I mean, they're great guys. I do think they're a bit too easygoing sometimes. Like, they tend to rely on me to make plans. Um, and they'll just say that they're fine with whatever, even when I can kind of clearly see that they're a bit uncomfortable. And I appreciate that they're open to experiences. Uh, like, there's definitely nothing horrendous about them. It's just me being me and thinking too much about the past as always. Um, it does help, I think, that one or both of them has dealt with anxiety as well. Um, you know, Other mental health stuff that I don't think we've gone too much in depth about, but we've shared bits here and there. And I can just hear my past self saying to me now, you should be more grateful for what you have. And I'm trying. I'm really trying. I want this. I want to feel happy around them and everything. Um, but whenever I'm with them, I notice how quiet I am. And whenever I say something, it feels like it's not really me saying it, but it's just my mouth speaking. So there could be some dissociation there. I'm not really sure, or it's just anxiety running its mouth, whatever. Um, and I always feel like I have to come up with something interesting to say or be up to something cool for them to want to take notice, um, which is not needed because they, when they share about their lives, it's pretty ordinary. It's not, they're not CEOs of a massive company. They're just a couple of regular guys. And yet somehow one of them is always really good with stories because he's close with his family and seems to just have a story about every single one of them. And the other one just naturally is easy with conversation. I'm not really sure how to put it, but yeah. And I've been trying to ask questions, but they get flipped on back on me sometimes because they think that I'm asking the question because I want to answer it, uh, or it's just a weird question that I got offline online, and it was written by probably a bot or maybe an alien. Who knows who writes those things? Like, even something as simple as, what are you looking forward to this year? And every answer I get is, oh, I can't even think that far into the future, a year ahead. Oof. And, relatable. Yeah, I get that. I can't even plan a week in ahead. But that was what the online sheet said. It seemed like a reasonable question, and it has met the wrong audience, and it feels like it's my fault rather than whoever came up with it. Um, but yeah, we're still in touch. There was more contact towards the beginning when we were messaging, getting to know each other. I always feel like that's the easiest part because you can just ask a bunch of questions, and even if I don't really care about how many siblings you have or how many times you've moved house, it's something that can fill the time. And, I guess just gathering information about the stories of their lives, because that's seems to be what friends are, is that you have someone and you know their life and you're part of it. Uh, hmm. And I think part of the problem for me is that I just don't want to be part of the life. I'd rather observe sometimes, really. I think there was a post on somewhere that said that they wish that they could have two extroverted friends just talking to each other and bantering, and the original poster just sitting back and watching. And I think that's kind of ideal for me. Uh, Other times when I go to groups, which is far and few between, but I guess I have been doing them more often in the past year, like art groups. There was a writing group online, um, music at some point. So yeah, stuff like that. And then I'll go there, and you just have to listen to the people around you because you can't escape, you can't leave, and it sounds like a very boring podcast. Uh, and just have to sit with that and endure it. And this is supposed to be good for you. It's social interaction. It's helping you not isolate. And it feels like a very cheap alternative to whatever a normal life is. Um, and I guess that's just me and my expectations. I have been too far into my fantasy world lately, watching too many movies and being let down by what I thought would happen in my head, and struggling to accept what the reality is of meeting people and talking to them and getting to know them, the long, long process of getting to know them, um, without any real connection for quite a while, because that takes some time to develop when it's not online. People just don't throw their trauma at you. That's, yeah, I mean, that side of it is definitely a lot easier. It can feel like they're a bit fair weather friends sometimes, but it's easier to manage. And, I'm always up for listening when they need to vent, but it's usually contained to that one interaction. So it doesn't just go on and on. And if there's further venting, then it's usually a different issue because they go off and deal with it by themselves. They've got their own lives, that kind of thing. They're smart, they know about the world, they can use Google to look up mental health stuff. I mean, everyone can, but I'm getting off topic here. Um, how much time? 13. Oh my god. I've just been blabbering. I think I've had too much time on my own and not been able to verbalize how I'm feeling, even with my therapist, and that's been fun. Unstable relationships, the second symptom of BPD. Not really been experiencing that, but the first one is definitely making it difficult to feel like it's a stable connection. Like I'm having to hold myself back from asking for validation all the time. Am I interesting enough? Is this a good conversation? Have I said something wrong? Am I doing this in a way that makes sense? Do you understand me? Does anything I do make sense? Well, I'm wanting to be understood there, and I'm guessing that's the whole, mind and mouth disconnect going on. So I guess with those guys, it's been alright. I am afraid to lose them. Like, I kind of feel like they might be going behind my back because they have been talking by themselves on Messenger, and I can tell because they'll sometimes say things in conversation where it's clear that they've been keeping up to date with one another, but not with me. So until I finally get so caught up in that paranoia, we will probably stay stable friends, once or twice month meeting. Um, Not really made any online friends since, I don't know, 2020, maybe 2022, yeah. And I don't think, well, I have tried recently to go on Bumble BFF and talk to people, but it's slow going. People will match with you and then they will stop talking to you after one sentence. I guess that's just them being anxious. I don't know. Third symptom of BPD is unclear self-image, and I've been trying to work on this with my therapist, talking about values, and it feels like every day that I wake up, I have an entirely new set of values because the past me and the future me are all completely different people. The current me, who just wants to sleep and eat, and I don't even want to watch TV anymore. It's just something to kill time. Uh, I've been trying to get a job, but my self-esteem, such that it is taken. Well, it's always been low, but I was more ambitious in the past. I thought I could be an animator, and now I've been looking at cleaning jobs because I don't think I have the skill it takes or the systems of a functioning human to be able to meet deadlines and network in the art industry. Who even knows where to look for jobs in that? And my interest in that kind of stuff, art and writing and nature, it's always wavering. It feels, because it's been in my past so much, it feels like it's the foundation inside me. Uh, but it does not come with the urge to actually put in the work. It does not come with the desire to spend every day practicing, and it's more of a few times a year thing. Well, maybe more than that. I think last year I got at least 50 drawings done. I think I tried to set a goal for 4 to 5 art pieces each month, and there were a couple months where I didn't meet it, and the ones where I did, it was usually doodles in my sketchbook that no one will ever see, and that's fine. Uh, I did some requests online, but yeah, it is not set in stone enough for me to actually pursue it long term, to try and make a career out of it. Um, I have no idea what I want to do for a job, and everyone has just been telling me to try new stuff, to try work experiences, internships, and I would like to do that, but every time I've been to the work coach, they say, well, you have to have a specific reason for wanting to do this specific industry, and I just want to try stuff. I don't want to have to create this artificial self that says, oh, I would love to do catering. It's been my passion since I was young, because no, it hasn't. And I'm becoming more familiar with the idea that we need to lie in job stuff, but um, I expect them to expect me to want to maintain that passion or interest that I showed in the initial start, or just I expect them to question me, so what brought you into this and that kind of thing. And I won't have any answers, and I'm usually quite a bad liar. I can't come up with things on the spot. My brain just goes blank. my personality in general. I think people see a different version of me than I see in my head, and obviously that's due to a lot of self-criticism, low self-esteem, confidence. Uh, so I'm not sure how it's changed in the long term. I want to say more patient, but not entirely sure because my long-term memory isn't that great. Short-term memory either. Um, I guess my therapist says that I've been less avoidant of things, so uh, more willing to take risks, maybe, or at least open to new opportunities, which is good. Um, Still feels like I'm in the same place that I was 4 years ago when I made this video, but there have been external changes. The next symptom, number 4, is self-destructive tendencies. I'm still binging sometimes. Uh, I've started to get food delivered with meal kits and recipe cards, and that's been helpful for stopping me from getting takeaway. Um, yeah, it's so stressful. God, cooking is just feels traumatic every time I make a dish. God, um, but I have been doing that more. I think I've put down my takeaways to like once a week because there's one day in between the delivery and the amount of food that you get. I think it's 6 meals that I get. Yeah. Um, no, no, well, 3 meals, and then they each last 2 days. And it's been work, doing the dishes every day mostly. um, I guess it's just another thing to kill the time, and it smells nice sometimes. Uh, Cheaper than going takeaway, of course. Yeah, I think I used to be an impulsive spender at times, and I've been tracking what I spend my money on, and I think it's usually like once a month or something that I'll just find something that I want to buy. Recently, it's been a lot of books. Getting into reading. Um, yeah, not so much. Mostly just the binging, so that's kind of a bonus. Well, yeah, not binging as much because of the meal kits. Yeah, the symptom number 5 is self harm. I think I'm still clean since 2020, April maybe, and so that's 4 solid years. Well, give or take a few months. Yeah, whatever. It's 1 a.m. I don't care about details right now. The urges are still very, very intense. Like every time I'm in a bad mood, I just immediately go to that thought of wanting to self harm. And I guess it's like they say about alcoholics, like once you're an alcoholic, you're always one, because that urge just doesn't quite leave you. You just have to stave it away. And what worked for me in the beginning, at least, was just being too lazy to want to clean up after myself, to want to get up off the couch and go and find a razor. And fortunately, I am still that type of lazy. Uh, and I was recently cleaning out my cupboards and I found out that my plasters from that time expired. So, yeah, it's been a while. Check your cupboards. Spices also expire, or they get less flavorful, apparently. Yeah. Uh, Symptom number 6, uh, emotional mood swings, emotional swings. It feels so hard to define my feelings these days. I feel like I used to be quite good at it. Um, there's, it feels like there's always like the undercurrent of a bad mood, or low mood at least, just kind of a bit of nothingness, really. Um, but I'm not numb. I can definitely feel fear and anger. I I think the only positive emotions I tend to feel are relief, um, admiration sometimes, maybe. Um, I'm able to laugh if, need be in a social interaction. Uh, I've been tracking my mood, and like the past couple of weeks have been, more than half the days I've been in a low mood. Um, and it does seem like I get over my bad moods faster in general. I mean, not this month it seems, but usually on a day-to-day basis. Like, it will still linger on my mind, but the emotional arousal will go down after a few hours, maybe after sleeping it off once or twice. Yeah, I think a lot of them, the mood swings can come from thinking about the past. And I don't think that those memories are always triggered by what's around me. I guess, I mean, they have to be that sometimes. But yeah, they just kind of feel like they come at me randomly. And because I'm always so, don't know what the right word is here, but I guess on edge whenever I go to like some some group or with my two buddies. It's very easy to like tip me off the edge. Well, it's never an outburst. It's always internal and mostly just me complaining like a teenager at the back of my head. I had that when I went up to see my family, and I knew that I would get triggered. I knew that all my symptoms would flare up. Uh, and I did have a bit where we were playing some board game and I was just being petulant. Um, I guess just that rebellious urge was still there from my teenage years. Um, and I guess that must be normal for family. Um, Lost my train of thought a little bit. Um, so I'm guessing that mood swings are probably better than what they were. And I guess a lot of it time it just feels stagnant and bubbling underneath the surface, which I guess I've always done, just bottled it up and not talked about it because I didn't see the use in doing that. It didn't feel like it made me feel any better. I have found that sometimes doing self care doesn't help with my emotions like directly, but it can have a better effect on me the next day, which is, I guess, not something that you want from a coping mechanism, but um, looking at the broader picture means that it kind of does work. It just takes a lot more time than you want it to. Um, yeah. Symptom number 7, emptiness, chronic emptiness. I think I've talked about a little bit about this with the stagnant feeling and um, the fading in and out of hobbies, um, or even my values. Just, yeah. I've tried to be more comfortable with sitting around doing nothing. Well, just, spend 5-15 minutes just on the couch to let things process in my head. Um, I think I've mostly noticed this symptom when I'm out with people and people are saying, afterwards that they had a really good time, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? It was really dull, and we barely spoke, and it was too loud, and I wasn't really sure why I was there halfway through. Um, so I guess that would be kind of feeling alienated, distanced. Um, but I guess that difficulty with trying to parse through my emotions could be due to that emptiness too. And I feel like there's just nothing left in me to draw from. Like, I don't know, inspiration wise, creativity wise too. Um, an empty mind is what we're dealing with right now. um, Symptom number 8, anger, mostly due to the past memories, reliving them in my head, ruminating, and wanting to make them right. You know, I've been, I still have recurring dreams. I don't know if I mentioned that in a previous video, but I have a recurring dream about getting kicked out by my family when I was 16. That still comes out sometimes. There have been more variations of it lately. Like one time there were people helping me to move out, and that was an interesting twist. I think that my anger lately has been mostly like just the petulant, childish complaining. Um, I guess sometimes it can be triggered as well when I'm anxious, and then because there's so much emotional intensity, the anxiety can feel like anger or vice versa. Uh, yeah, I mean, I would say more irritable than anger, just because I don't have the energy for anger really, and because I don't do anything about it, it just fades or gets pulled up. Yeah, I would really, really like to, I don't know, break something. I do get into those moods where I want to do that, tear apart continents and just go hate wild. But I can't be bothered, and my brain thinks too much of the future to really consider trying to break stuff, because I'll know I'll just have to clean it up afterwards, because I'm the only one that is responsible for that, and I don't like living in a messy apartment. Yeah, so a lot of not dealing with emotions, it seems like. I guess maybe not talking about it. I don't want to burden people with it, and I feel like since they can't do anything about it, then what's the point in telling them? Getting it off my chest, so to speak, doesn't really feel like it helps, because it just feels like I'm listing my problems and then reminding myself of them, and then they are now in the forefront of my mind, all listed out pretty on a piece of paper or something like that. And I would rather just let it fade away by not thinking about it, and it'll get solved eventually, because I usually do, I guess. It takes me a while to just procrastinate on it. Uh, there's a can rolling outside. That's how you know it's nighttime. You hear quiet enough to hear a pin drop. Symptom number 9, dissociation. I talked with a therapist in 2020 to 2021, and she said that whenever I was talking about my child self, or when we were doing inner child work, that I would start to, my, what I was saying wouldn't make sense, like my sentences would be disorganized, um, and I would just get really confused and feel like my head was fuzzy. I think I guess I still get it sometimes, but it's hard to figure out if I'm actually dissociating or just zoning out. Um, like staring at a space for 5 minutes doesn't mean you're dissociating. Um, I guess you should be looking for the context with it, like if there's something that triggers it. Um, and for me, because I think memory issues around the whole area just make it kind of hard to figure out what I'm experiencing. So, I think I went more into detail about it before, but I just, yeah, like it used to be kind of like clockwork when I was in university. Around about 8 p.m., I would just be sitting at my desk and just zombie mode. uh, I think sometimes I go into zombie mode, like maybe sometimes at nighttime or in the morning with that sleep inertia, but that's just inertia, not actual dissociation. Um, Maybe after events, or if I've been through something kind of overstimulating, then I'll have to sit down and just go blank for a bit. Uh, I was just thinking, like, does it ever show up in social interactions? I guess that could be why my mind goes blank, because that's a hyperarousal state. Uh, but I can't tell if it's a flight response or a freeze response. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's causing too many issues, so uh, let's leave that for later. Oh god, 37 minutes. This is going to take so long to upload. I think the last one I uploaded was like 20 to 30 minutes long, and that took 3 hours to upload to YouTube, so you're welcome. I'll probably be asleep anyway when this uploads. This is the first time take. Can't be bothered editing. When have I ever tried to do that? I was about to go to bed after a few hours of watching movies and listening to music, and not wanting to do anything else. And then, because it's bedtime, obviously the thoughts are swirling around in my head. And I guess the email that I got today just kind of made me think, why not share this bad mood with the world? Because I wanted this channel to be, seeing the healing process through the thick of it, and that includes the good, bad, and ugly, even when I want to be peppy and motivational, trying to be encouraging. um, like, I guess maybe the feelings won't end soon, but my energy levels will do whatever they do when I go to sleep. Sometimes get worse, sometimes get better, and I might do something that makes me feel productive. Oh, a new emotion identified. Although I don't really feel it that much. Like, it feels like relief rather than accomplishment, A burden off my back, yeah. I lost my train of thought again. God. Um, well, this video's been long enough, I guess. I keep having to squint because I actually wear glasses, but I didn't want them to reflect off the light because I'm sitting right beside my lamp right now on the floor, as you can maybe tell, because I don't have fancy YouTube setup or whatever. So yeah, this is just one of those days where I'm feeling down, and you know, maybe in a few days I won't even remember feeling like this. For better and for worse, I won't remember what triggered me into this, and I'll feel stupid for wasting time. Uh, but I guess I've been trying to be easier on myself about that. Um, or am I? Am I? The self-criticism never ends. Okay, I'm trailing off. I don't know what else to say, but I hope maybe this video made you feel a little less alone, or put some thoughts that you had into words. And yeah, happy new year. Bit late for that, but happy 2024. Oh, there's me trying to be encouraging again. Bad moods don't last forever, but I'm going to be angry about it anyway.